So thank you for inviting me. So I connected from my mobile. So I think now it's okay, isn't it?
Yes,
Yes,
sir,
sir.
you're audible.
Okay, fine. So thank you for inviting me. Me and Tushara were classmates in 2008, MTech batch, and currently I'm doing my networking in Sritra. I'm working in the research campus of Sritra. So I went through the speakers list, and I mean, I could see very informative talks we can expect from the speakers. So I think we can straight away go to speakers. I mean, I will talk in between the session. That's what I usually do. We can go forward.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
we will invite the first speaker for the talk. Okay.
Yes, sir. Tech Talk is a national event conducted for all tech enthusiasts who want to explore the world of technologies. It is a platform for young minds and a platform for people to share their knowledge to a larger audience. Because in the end, knowledge grows when imparted. So, without wasting much time, I introduce our first speaker. He's renowned for his coding skills, known for his perfection and love towards art. He's also a good orator and a guide. The representative of TKM College of Engineering, I welcome Mr. Tabin Manu. He will be sharing his views and experience in the field deepfakes.
Good evening, all. So, am I audible?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, so let me press my screen. Hello, is the screen visible?
Yes, it's visible.
Okay. So, good evening, all. Images are always fascinating. How quicker our brain interprets those, more depth the content is being given. There is always a popular quote regarding creativity is a state in which the individuals enjoy permanent peace, happiness, and fulfillment. It is avoided as it would provide more information than text. Nowadays, images are also medium of communication of products. Hence, it is really important that what images we see, the information we gain from images must be real also. But in this session, we will discuss about how can we manipulate the images using artificial intelligence, the pros and the cons of deepfakes. So from the term deepfakes itself, we can say that deepfakes, the term itself can be decomposed into deep learning as well as fakes. From this term itself, we can say that it is a combination of artificial intelligence in order to create the fakes. Now I'm just providing an image of an apple as well as a banana. Here, two fundamental questions or two potential questions may arise. The first one is, how does human beings understand these two objects? The answer is pretty simple for everyone. It is simply said that from the color, from the texture, or from the size of the fruits, or from the size, it is very easy for a human being to understand whether it is an apple or a banana. Now, even more potential question for our computer scientists, it is an even more potential question arises. How does the computer understand the difference between these two? Now here comes the roles of the pixels as well as computer vision in the field of machine learning as well as in deep learning. Now, on speaking about the field of deep learning, we have always said that deep learning can be classified as a subfield of machine learning. The most advantageous part of the deep learning is that it combines the use of neural networks. Neural networks, which mimics the mechanism of the human brain. As we all know that whenever we perceive an image, our neurons and millions of neurons which is present in our brain would trigger the appropriate synapses, appropriate pulses accordingly in order to recognize as well as identify the pattern accordingly. And here, a similar mechanism is also being employed within the artificial neural networks, in which the neural networks or the neurons try to extract the features as well as perform the classification of the categories. It is very important that in order to support more deepfakes, a large amount of training corpus or a data set is to be provided. And the data science, the purpose of every data science engineer is to provide as much as data as they can, as well as scale the machine models accordingly, such that they can it is very accurate for a large scale of data, as well as it should be more generalized as well as more informative. So here is just a difference between what machine learning as well as deep learning is. So in machine learning, we often find that the feature extraction phase is normally done by the users, or it is being done by some of the random algorithms or the algorithms that is being provided by the ML engineers itself, while the neural networks takes guard of the classification tasks. But in case of deep learning, both feature extraction as well as the classification parts, both of these are being combined into a single unit. And these all are handled by the neural networks itself. As I've already mentioned, it's just mimicking the that is a human brain mechanism. And finally, in this figure, we can see a car, an input or a car is being given, and using the feature extractions, extracting the features of the cars, as well as performing the classification, the model can predict whether the output is car or not car. Now, let us move on to the topic that I'm going to discuss, which is none other than deepfakes. As I've already mentioned before, deep learning in combination in order to create the fakes is termed as deepfakes. The fundamental aspect that is being involved in deepfakes is just simple. It replaces the existing images or video, and it employs the use of neural networks in order to do that. Now you may be wondering how it does so. It makes use of two or more mechanisms. One of the mechanisms that is being already being employed in deepfakes are autoencoder mechanisms. In autoencoder, a sample image is being trained. That is, for instance, if a person's face is to be swapped with others, the initial person's face or the mappings, in order to provide the mappings of the initial face of the initial person, here the features associated with the facial extractions are being done automatically. And in this figure, we can see that a person's face is being morphed from one to another using the same deepfakes mechanism or using the artificial intelligence mechanism. Here, different angles or different poses of the person is being comprised, as well as how does the person looks in under different environmental conditions are also being discussed over here. And using that, the model tries to generate images by mapping the features over to the target document, and over to the target image more precisely. And finally, the final image is being produced over here. So here it makes use of the facial feature as well as the body posture of the person. That is, these are the two major factors that is being involved in developing the deepfakes. So now you may be seeing an image or a portrait of an Edmund de Bellamy. It is one of the most popular deepfakes portraits because this is a GAN portrait painting. So I will discuss more about GANs in the later session. This portrait painting was nearly sold out for nearly 432 $500 million. This is mainly because of the image that is being provided by the GANs. Now, how it is an expressive way in which how computers are more creative, how they can be more creative from the sample input data that they have been being provided. It is nearly the future that in nearby futures we can see that more brilliant artists would be from the GANs or even robots would be there to directly to guide some paintings and scriptures. Now moving on to there is also another example which is used to demonstrate the power of GANs. Well, one could serve and site termed as this person does not exist.com. In this site is an example of how the images of the persons, that is real persons, are being combined or using the facial swapping techniques in order to produce the persons that are not existing at all. This is another example to feature the power of GANs. Now moving on to the techniques that I'm going to explain. Here, face swapping as well as the facial manipulation are the two techniques that has been used in deepfakes. In face swapping, the features of the second person, that is the facial features of the second person, is being replaced with the facial features of the first person in order to create an entirely different person as an output. And similarly, some of the features, not the entire facial features, but in some parts of the faces are also being manipulated in the second part, which is using facial manipulation techniques. Now, a fundamental question may arise: how to spot a deepfakes? Well, if the AI algorithm that we use is a well-crafted one, then it would be nearly impossible to, then it would be very difficult to identify or spot down the deepfakes. But it's not impossible though. We can use it in case of normal algorithms or in some usual algorithms. There may be some mistakes that this automated automated models might produce. So here I have listed out some. The first one is in case of original, when compared with that of the deepfakes, inconsistent eye blinking is one of the feature that is being notable. And next one is the mismatched earrings that is being provided over in this feature, and some features that might lack definition also. These are some of the factors in which one can identify or spot a deepfake really is. We have also been interested with how deepfakes are being more popular. But it is also the need of the hour to understand that deepfakes is a double-edged sword. So on speaking about the deepfakes, it has both pros as well as cons. On the significant impact in deepfakes are, the first one is in the field of education. That is, in case of engaging as well as in interactive classrooms, deepfakes are being more suitable. First one, it would help to bringing in historical figures. That is, the historical figures or historical persons details can be provided over here, and then it can be used in modeling machinery as well as in human anatomy process also. Another feature in which that is a most popular feature that is being used in case of deepfakes are the VFX effects that is being used in movies. So in most popular films like Star Wars or in any other animated movies, the presence of deepfakes are really much important. Even some hologram techniques are also making use of deepfakes in order to generate the images that are not yet real. The next feature is the public safety as well as digital reconstructions. It is often useful in reconstructing the crime scenes and moreover useful in forensic analysis and all. And now moving on to the cons. So it is so here it is, we can say that the most potential or the hazardous part of the deepfakes is that deepfakes can be used in the defamation of a political person. That is, it is in the field of politics. For example, popular deepfakes that have been developed about 7 or 8 years ago was that of Donald Trump's deepfakes, as I provided in this image. Here, if the real person's image or the Donald Trump's his facial expressions or features are being manipulated, as well as it is being mapped over to the first person's image in order to make a simulation in such a way that Trump is being speaking to, that is, the Trump is making an address on the speech. But in actual, this was not the case. Many of the social media, that is, this video went viral over the social media, as well as this was really this was a factor which defined the person that is being involved in this. Moreover, the use of deepfakes is to be hence the reality in real cases, the detection of the deepfakes, that is whether the images are being real or fake, it is also coming in more important. Now moving on to some of the AI technologies that is being using the deepfakes. So we are always popular with some of the most applications like FaceApp, Snapchat, ShareChat, etc. In such applications, there are always some features that is used to manipulate our facial expressions or even change the gender of a person as well as the age of a person in a more convenient, in a convincing manner. These technologies are always being popular among our society also. Apart from that, deepfakes, on specifying about the pros, we can see that seeing AI and lookout are the two technologies in which makes use of the deepfakes in order to assist or aid the people with visual environment. They help in describing the short text, documents, products, or people, as well as etc., such that they would really help these kinds of people to explore the real world. So these are some of the technologies that have been investigated. Now, moving on to the most fundamental part of this deepfakes technologies, which is none other than generatory adversary networks, that is GANs. So, as I provided in the definition, it can create images that look like the photographs of human faces, even though the faces don't belong to any real person. Here, the GANs, we can see that the GANs consist of two parts or two competitive networks each other. The first one is a generator, and the second one is a discriminator network. The role of the generator, from the name itself, it is used to generate the candidates or the random data that is used in creating the fake images. While the evaluation of the candidates or whether these candidates are real or fake is being done by the discriminator. So we can always compare this as an analogy that that generator has some kind of a person who is very much brilliant in indulging or committing cheating others, while the discriminator as a detective who is whose responsibility is to ensure that he is not being cheated. Discriminating network is also responsible for evaluating the candidates generator. The generator runs based on whether it succeeds in fooling the discriminator. So here is a small image that I've been provided regarding the working of generator and discriminator. Here, at one part, we are providing the real images and we are providing a sample of the real images to that of the discriminator. At the same time, a generator, with the help of some randomized input or some randomized pixels and noise samples, some random noise samples are also being generated, and these are also being injected along with that of the real images. So you could see over here that in the right side of the image, some real person's images, which is being changed due to the addition of noises over here. So this face looks somewhat weird, isn't it? So this is how a this is how addition of the noises would work in our real life. And similarly, the discriminator using this data needs to identify whether the given images provided are real or fake, depending on the analyzing the data that is being done. So as an output, there are two outputs that are being provided: discriminator loss as well as generator loss. So the one network which with having the lowest loss will win over the other. So as an analogy, a generative model could generate new photos of animals that look like the real animals, while a discriminative model could take a dog from a cat. Or in other words, discriminator is responsible for identifying whether it is a real or a fake. So GANs, it is just one kind of a generative model being used. So now moving on to the future of the GANs. That is how the GANs can be utilized well in our future. As I've already mentioned, the scopes of the GANs are always providing an entire new dimension in the field of computer vision as well as artificial intelligence. Well, in future, we can always expect that even the movies or in the field of medicine and science, GANs would be helpful in which we can generate images or generate creative images, which is generally used uh, which will be generally be useful in supporting others. That is in field of education, science, etc. But on the other side, it is also responsible that we need to devise a powerful deep fake detection mechanism. That is, the discriminators also needs to be more powerful in order to ensure that no one's get being harmed. That is, as I've already mentioned about the defamation cases. So we can always join our hands for making out the GANs work. We open doors to research, to creative responses, and hands-on activities that will help us all formulate relevant questions as we make our way through this demanding knowledge. With this, I conclude my presentation. Thank you all for being here.
Yeah, thank you, Taban. Your talk was very good. So now it's open for discussion. Anyone want to ask questions? After that, I'll ask my doubts. Yeah, hope you could hear me.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, anyone has any doubts? Taban, you are ready. No?
ഒരു ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ചോദിച്ചിട്ട് വേണം. Hello, Tapan. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm especially. It is a very good presentation, and in fact, new advancements is AI and also deep learning. You have with the Jan, you have explained it. I mean, it's not a question. I'm just wondering. So you know that the online examination systems that we conducted, and one of the software we are looking is the proctoring system. I think you may be aware of that. Proctoring.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
So, would you be able to come up with a product where the fake person will come for writing the examination using this GIAN technology? It would be a very good, you know, kind of contribution from you guys. You understand what
Um,
my question is?
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Actually, thank you, ma'am, for suggesting me for such as a product. Actually, I would like to say that in case of proctoring, as ma'am has already mentioned, it is very common that that malpractices can be
Yeah.
often occur in case of using deepfakes. So
Mhm.
actually, I'm just to be frankly speaking, I'm just a beginner to this field. But even though I'm also trying to invest in more. I've been going through many research papers regarding how to detect the uh, real faces from that of the fake face. That is in
Okay.
case in the field of deepfake detection. So, ma'am, as I've already mentioned, I've been looking through many of the discriminated networks that has been popular in nowadays, and I'm trying my level best to bring such a product into the market.
Okay. Okay. So if you're interested to invest more on that, please contact me. Also, this is one of the interesting topic for me also. So I am also thinking of coming up with a new proctoring software where this malpractices can be, minimized or avoided. So please contact me. You can get my you can get my number from or maybe I'll WhatsApp you. So you can contact me.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Bye.
thank you, Elizabeth, madam. Happy to know that you are
Yeah.
person. Okay, thank you, thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
Taban,
wonderful.
Taban, one question, Taban. Can we uh, can we analyze where this message was originated? I mean, any tracking mechanism? I mean, India has developed anything to find where this deepfake messages are originated, something like that.
Actually, sir, I don't think that it's possible because it is mainly focused on this image pixels only, sir. Mostly on scans, as I've already mentioned, sir. So I don't. Actually, I'm just a beginner also to this field.
Yeah, yesterday I could read somewhere that Facebook has developed a software by which they could analyze what type of AI tools are involved in these deepfake messages and also from where it is originated. Because now the government has told it is a compulsory thing. It is a compulsory thing to know from where this deepfake messages are originated. So something they have started. Facebook has started something to tell from where it is originated, which all AI tools are used to change the sound. I mean, as you told, there are two types of methods. One is doing something with the image and doing something with the sound and this thing. So they had developed something to analyze that. I mean, are you aware of anything of that sort?
No, sir, not to my knowledge, sir.
Okay, fine. Okay. Next question, anything? Or we'll go to next speaker.
We can go for the next speaker.
Okay, okay. So, okay,
Meenakshi?
yeah, Vinay K. Narayanan. Yeah, we'll please.
So Vinay K. Narayanan is from Rajgiri School of Engineering and Technology. Mr. Vijay is the regional winner of ASAP Kerala Hackathon and the top finalist in the ASAP Reboot Finals. With his interest in coding, he has outshined in many other events. He also has a creative media agency startup in his name called Haze and has helped a lot many mini startups for their launch. I welcome him to talk about the implementations and advantages of data science in the field of medicine. Tapan, you can stop your presentation.
Hello,
Am I audible? All right, great. Okay, so a technological revolution has occurred in various industrial areas during the previous decade, beginning with internet corporations such as Google and Microsoft. Some services such as internet advertising has been more personalized and transformed as a result of this boom. As data management and analysis have become central to many businesses, computer scientists have been called upon to provide tools capable of extracting knowledge from the ever-growing structured and unstructured databases. So now we come to the topic of data science. What is data science? It's quite literally the science of data. It is a field of study that combines domain expertise, programming skills, and knowledge of mathematical and statistics to extract meaningful insights from data. It is a blend of various tools, algorithms, and machine learning principles with a simple goal to discover hidden patterns from raw data. Now, coming to my topic, big healthcare data is already a reality. In healthcare industry, data plays an important role in bringing improvisation and innovation. The healthcare data generates avenues for many discoveries. It provides a foundation to run evaluation and produce more effective drugs. It establishes better communication between patients and doctors. It improves the overall quality of healthcare by giving a deeper insight into patients' health reports and how a specific drug is responding to that. As per a research presented by the Ponemon Institute, around 30% of global data are stored in healthcare fields. Now, healthcare stores different kind of data like clinical trials, electronic medical reports, EMRs, genetic information, care management databases, internet research, social media data, etc., etc. And patients use tools to establish communications between health professional and book appointments. These tools are synchronized with the data that we have, and they become easier to manage customer data. Now let's explore what drives the relationship between a patient and a doctor before made its way into healthcare. Traditionally, the work of physicians was more of a balancing act between technical expertise and human interpersonal skills. So, on one hand, we have medical doctors aiming to improve their knowledge to diagnose diseases more accurately and recommend optimal treatment for each specific health condition. On the other hand, these try to be more empathetic to their patients, taking in account of their psychological background and their cultural beliefs. Today, most doctors know that engaging in a dialogue with the patient is crucial and critical in delivering adapted information, improving adherence to treatment, and ensuring a better understanding of their condition. However, by mid 20th century, with biomedical revolution reaching its peak, medicine became increasingly efficient, but it became more technical. In addition, the trust between doctors and patients has always faced a lot of challenges, like language and cultural barriers, potential threatening alternative medicine, and very recently, the decrease in importance of family practices. So, in the light of all these evolutions, with this huge technological boom that we saw, data science might be a phenomenon that challenges physicians' ability to adapt and might even make them rethink their profession. So, now let's take a look what happened after data science got into medical domain, right? So, medical image analysis. Data science plays a huge role with its application in medical imaging. Popular imaging techniques can be used to tackle uncountable methods to find differences in dimensions of images and resolution. Right, the imaging techniques used such as X-ray, computer tomography, MRI, they've been combined with data science tools to provide more accurate beams to extract data from the images with efficient quality. So, with the help of data science, image interpretation has become seamless. The deep learning algorithms are providing an in-depth diagnosis with most proficient interpretation. Now let's come to drug discovery. Take a period of 12 years, right? The process of drug discovery and cost creation goes around $2.6 billion according to different medical surveys. It's an average amount. And the single formula passes over different millions of testing procedures until it gets approved. In most cases, even after investing so much time, effort, money, the formula does get rejected. However, with the use of data science, processes is shortened to days, weeks, months, and made much more efficient. See, machine learning adds extra steps for initial screening of each component and predict the success rate through various biological factors. So we are able to predict the response and reaction of the drug reaction of a certain compound with the body. So instead of opting for lab experiments, use of these technology applies simulation and advanced mathematical modeling for better analysis. Now we come to virtual assistance for patients. Consider the outbreak of COVID-19, right? The global healthcare spending statistics has been directed to making efforts to limit patient visits to hospital and shift everything to virtual platforms. The AI integrated tools enable patients to get virtual visits and to interact with the doctors online through voice and video calls. Many severe health conditions can be perfectly monitored and patients can stay relaxed and comfortable when being diagnosed. So ultimately, physicians may no longer require direct interactions with their patients so to accurately assess their clinical and even psychological status. So we can argue that the progressive automation of various tasks of clinical practice could free up more time for physicians to invest in an improved doctor-patient relationship. Today, most physicians spend a large amount of time trying to detect a potential drug interaction, as finding a very specific event in a patient's medical history and surveying repeated various lab results. Take simple case, type 2 diabetes, right? Today's protocols recommend for a regular follow-up consult in a predetermined sequence, such as 2 months, 1 month, depending on the stage and complications, right? But based on multiple inputs like urine tests or self-reported symptoms, we can use predictive algorithms and generate or send warnings to patients' caregivers, allowing the physician to instantly decide whether or not to ask his patient to come for an earlier consult. So the thing is, these technical items is still under the control of medical profession. So we cannot automate every possible task. Empathy cannot be automated, right? All we can do is develop technology to save the time of these professionals and be more precise in their predictions. That's what it's about. Technology is a limitation on how much you can push it forward, right? Here's a small example. This is a personal project that I worked on for my final year. It summarizes medical reports and research documents to an abstractive form, gives it back to the user. Summarizes user's birth, which is bidirectional encoded representation from transformers, which is a transformer or a neural system developed Google and automatically, when given a report as an input, gives a summary as an output. Right? So how does this work? The figures that I'm showing you depicts the system design and the workflow during the training process. The medical data we collected are from different places. We have about 32 documents, not sets, just 32 documents that we were able to collect due to a lot of restrictions from hospitals about filling not privacy information. We got these 32 documents. They scanned images of different kinds of medical reports, pre-processed them, converted them into text files, pre-processed them with Word, and then uh, used it to train the model. Subsequently, when the model was evaluated, performance checked, we found out that it showed decent amount of performance even after applying a very small amount of data. This is a type of data that we got. We are basically scanned images of these reports. They had to rub out a lot of the name and other personal details. So from these images, we were supposed to extract data using OCR and then do all these tasks. So when you add an input, let's say, you can find the PDF file. Our usual use case does not involve scanned images. We usually use soft copies, but we were never able to get that. So now we have to manually clean them because the garbage is so unstructured that we cannot automate them in any way. So we have to manually clean them and then finally send it to a summarizer. The web application you see here is generated using a Flask web framework. Since we were building a prototype, our intention was to limit the code to functionality rather than design, right? So this is how the summary looks. Now, yes, it looks weird, but if you notice, you can see that certain words from the report are there. Or not all words from the report are there. Certain words only. The reason why the model is this weird is because we have 32 documents. BERT is a model that has been pre-trained on hundreds and thousands of other documents such as the CNN Daily Mail data set. That amount of data sets just surpassed what we had, creating this jumbled amount of data, but we were still able to get some kind of summary, generate some amount of data, even with the very less amount of data set that we had, medical reports that we had. So in conclusion, in somewhat of a practical sense, we can say that they're summarized, but who's it for? It's for the professionals. As I discussed previously, medical not just medical science. Someone practicing medicine isn't just someone who's smart. They are also someone who are sensitive, emotional, caring, decisive, and most importantly, the ability to feel empathy. So our project focused on the human part of the design phase. We made it to lighten the burden rather than trying to replace the doctors. We did really succeed in creating something valuable. Although we had low resources and poor quality of the data set, we still broke that barrier, and we are right now planning to expand on this project in a much bigger way. So the real question: why tech cannot replace doctors? Data science boom happens. Why still it cannot completely replace doctors? Right? I want to share a small link via the chat. Just um, video that really made me want to go get into the subject. So it's a favorite show of mine called House MD. Right? They get recent, basically how bunch of doctors trying to treat different cases. They're based on real life experiences. So one patient comes in, they found out the patient was poisoned. They knew that there was poison in the bloodstream, and somehow the skin it was absorbed via the skin. They didn't know how it happened. So what they did was they tried different tests. They worked on different scenarios. They tried to see. They considered many options: drug, food poisoning. For every possible diagnosis, they suggested a different treatment option. Each one made the patient worse until they figured it out. A few doctors went to the person's home. They rummaged through his stuff and they found out that his trouser had phosmet in it, which is a type of insecticide. The trouser was bought from another street vendor. He never washed it. He wore it, and his skin absorbed phosmet, which again put poison in his bloodstream. So physicians have a non-linear working method. See, no algorithm in the world could have made that diagnosis. Data, measurements, quantitative analysis, everything is a crucial part to a doctor's work. It will be even more critical and crucial in the future. So setting up a diagnosis and treating a patient are not linear processes. It requires creativity, problem-solving skills, out-of-the-box thinking, and algorithms that the robots can never achieve, right? So, and moreover, patient and their lifestyle vary to a different degree, and that people differ, right? So diseases may have the same feature, but the way we get it is different. So there no case can never be the same. Everyone requires in personal attention from human physicians. So under the emergence of complex digital solutions, doctor translated data from simple medical devices into medical decisions, and that task will remain the same, just that the technology will be different. So in conclusion, it was never between techs versus humans. Data science boom happens. That doesn't mean we can replace the essence of it. It was more like for humans. The consistent and constant any image building should stop once and for all. Technological innovations are always to serve the purpose to help people. Collaboration between humans and technology is the ultimate response. So I believe physicians will respond to the evolution of profession by investing more in human and technical skills. And these technical skills will remain a key factor to new well-performing data-driven applications. So I would say that in the next coming future, physicians, medical students will invest their increasing amount of free time that they get because of these data-driven applications into bettering their communication skill and interpersonal skills, and at the same time broaden their field towards data science and technical theory. And now I open this panel for discussion. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Vinay. Yeah, anyone has any questions? Any questions? Yeah, Vinay, you have heard about the robots, isn't it? Robots welcoming the patients in the hospital and diagnosing whether they got temperature.
Yes,
Have you heard about that?
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Mainly in Japanese hospitals and I think
Yeah,
one in Dubai also. Yes.
Dubai. Yeah, I read about in Dubai. So anything you can tell about that?
See, sir, that's a very brilliant piece of technology. In fact, I was really fascinated by it. But I mean, I'll ask you in a more informal sense, right? When you go to hospitals, do you really prefer having a human in front of you or just a computer beeping in front of you? If you want to tell your symptoms like heart to heart, you would love to have another human look at you and understand it, right? Yeah, like that's the essence of what human is. So the idea of empathy is what makes humans love to go to doctors, because I am comfortable going to a doctor because the doctor looks at me, he's like, tell me about your problems. That makes me comfortable talking to him. And I don't now, even though I really love those robots and how they are made, but can they really replace humans? I don't think so. Can they do exact accurate predictions? Definitely.
Okay. Anyone else? Any questions?
Uh, Excuse me, I'm George M. I have logged into this session on my grandson's ID, so that's why Tom Joseph name is appearing. I am a member of the CSI. That's why I got the link. Are you hearing me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
I'm trying to make a non-technical mention because you quoted the example of diabetes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I claim that I have cured my diabetes almost 12 years ago through some natural diet processes. And till now, that is even after 12 years, it has not returned. So if somebody is interested in knowing more, I'm happy to help people because I consider this as my social service. I'm telling here because I'm probably one of the initial members of CSI. With that liberty only I'm telling. It's totally non-technical and it has only very weak link to the presentation. Anyway, you made a very good presentation. I'm also interested in data science and I keep reading some things, not on a very serious level. So you have made a very good presentation. I liked it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for that. In fact, I'm really honored that you came and talked to me about this. And this is what you said is an example that I again want to portray to the people. Humans have a different power compared to technology, right? We can do things that robots can't. Now, can a robot tell you to sit on a strict natural diet and control your diabetes? No, they'll give you medications, right? Because that's what we program them to do. Maybe a better neural scheme in the future would definitely do that. So I would like to take what sir said and make it like an process of enlightenment that humans really do surpass technology in a huge amount of way. But we can still say that from what like the technology that we have, we can make accurate and precise predictions and use that to what do you say for that fund make our medical decisions more stronger. So thank you so much for that, sir. I'll definitely tell my people back in the college about this.
On computerization and automation, what I had in my mind and still have in my mind is that the selfishness can be removed from the process. If you automate a software like that, see the human selfishness, on many occasions, human selfishness come into play, even in hospitals or in offices or wherever it is. So, this type of computer automation may reduce it to a great extent. That is what I feel.
No, so that's definitely true because humans still have an idea of ego and all those kind of concepts. Right? We don't know. Maybe a doctor will be like, my predictions are perfect on point, and a computer can completely eliminate that because the computer doesn't care about how good you are or how bad you are. It'll just give you the right prediction. So yeah, that involvement of feelings is completely eliminated, giving much more precise and accurate decisions.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, George sir, for coming up and cheering up our young speakers. And we certainly value the tips which basically you share. You basically opened our session in a different scale. And thanks to Vinay that you patiently listened and accepted the words of wisdom from our senior member. So thanks a lot, Vinay. And definitely we will be contacting you, George sir, and we'll have a get together definitely a session on the cure in diabetics. Soon we'll contact you, Joseph.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you. Any more questions? Or we'll go to the next one, Afsal.
Malvika, you can call the next person.
Our next speaker considers himself to be an open source enthusiast as well as a huge football fan. The all-rounder who loves spending his free time writing poems. I welcome Mr. Afzal Rahman VP, the first from Sri Chitra Tirunal College of Engineering, Trivandrum. Today, he will be talking about digital privacy. I hand over the platform to him.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so hello everyone. Today I'm here to talk about digital surveillance and privacy on the internet. So let's begin with some interesting news reports. This is Google responding to an allegation that they are reading users' email for targeting users with ads, and we have one report in which they said that they have stopped reading users' emails, and we have another one which shows their true colors on matters regarding users' privacy. In which Google says they have not stopped the same practices. And then we have another report, shockingly, which says Google can still access a location, even if the location history is turned off. And again, another one showing Google installed privacy components in user systems without their prior permission. It's getting more interesting, and the most astonishing report here is that of NSA, a government organization, has direct access to all servers of use-based tech giants such as Apple, Google, and Microsoft containing users' data. Hence, not only companies exploiting users' privacy for profit, governments all over the world are using to monitor and ultimately control their citizens. These allegations of mass surveillance can be extended to almost all tech trends, such as with Cambridge Analytica, and also Microsoft is also famous for suspected act of creating backdoors in Windows for NSA. So almost all for-profit companies are tracking its users. You and me to better understand our weaknesses and target us with better ads. At the end of the day, profit is their goal. So trusting a private company with your data is absolute foolishness. And Google and Facebook is also spying on everything you do, literally everything. If you're not protecting yourself, they are after your personal life, whether you like it or not. So it's not just a conspiracy theory anymore. And so here's what Richard Stallman, a free software prophet, saying: no company is important that its existence justifies a police state. Clearly, what he meant, even if the claims of such companies are to deliver best possible experience to users in the name of improving product quality, exploiting the concept of free will and users' freedom is unjustifiable in any means. And so, what I have to say is replacing proprietary tools with free software is the best possible way to eliminate this threat of invading users' privacy. To attain privacy, we have to ditch Chrome and Edge at first. Despite a pure reputation for privacy, Google's Chrome continues to dominate with about 65 to 75% of market share and about 2 billion active users worldwide. So here we have Firefox. It's a very good privacy focused open source browser, and like many of today's browsers, Firefox has been making many changes to try to answer users' calls all over the world to for more online privacy. So this includes blocking third-party trackers by default, as well as a VPN, a VPN, which is called Firefox Private Network. And Firefox also provides a number of tools to help protect against cookies and third-party cookies as well as first-party cookies. And it can also block advertisers and others. They are using cookies. And Firefox has blocked trackers by default since September 2019. They introduced a tool called enhanced tracking protection. So this enhanced tracking protection doesn't block all third-party trackers, though it blocks trackers on the disconnected list, which we can define which domains which trackers to block, and it can also block cross-site tracking cookies. And here are some advanced configuration of Firefox for extra privacy. And then we have some privacy extension. And we have first uBlock Origin. It's an efficient blocker that is easy on memory, and it can load and enforce thousands more filters and other popular blockers out there. And it's also completely open source and HTTPS everywhere. It enables encryption, and it's also collaborating with Tor to make your browsing experience secure and decentralized emulate. It is an extension which locally intercept requests, and it can intersect every environment, and we don't want to configure in the user side. So it's an automatic extension. It's a content delivery network, and it works by locally intercepting records and finding record sources and injecting it in the environment automatically. So then we have X-Browser Sync, which is a bookmark syncing tool, and which is also completely free and open source. And so moving on to this is Tor, and Tor is a network protocol which runs through many computer servers across the world. Mostly are given by volunteers, and initially the data that is sent across the Tor is bundled into some encrypted packets, and these modified and encrypted data packets is then routed to many servers, and we call the servers as relays. And only a relay only knows which is the previous relay and the next relay. So the relays offers maximum privacy and anonymity in the internet. So Tor and its browsers, Tor-based browsers is perfect for guarding your privacy against government sponsored and as well as tech giants surveillance. And so next, we have some privacy-oriented alternative browsers, and Bromate is a Chromium-based completely debuggable alternative for Chrome on Android, and Onion browser which uses the Tor network, and we have DuckDuckGo browser from DuckDuckGo, and Firefox Focus is a privacy-focused browser for Android and iOS, and we have iScat, which is a completely free and open source Firefox by Free Software Foundation and GNU. And we have here many alternatives for Windows 10, and the main reason or the simplest reason to avoid Windows 10 is because of it's from Microsoft, and Microsoft is notorious for spying into users' data to make maximum profit. And so we have Fedora, which is an RPM-based distro from Red Hat, and we have QBoys, which uses containers. So every application is secure from each other. And we have Bonix, and we have Tails, which also uses Tor protocol, and so which is very anonymous and private operating system. And in the mobile side, we have Renejoys and Graphinos and Calix5. These three are Android open source projects ports, and we have Ubuntu Touch, which was a discontinued Ubuntu operating system, and now it is currently being actively maintained and developed by UBports community. And then we have DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo is one of the best alternative for Google, and unlike Google, they uses the traditional method of sponsored ads and affiliate commissions to monetize their platform. So DuckDuckGo's ads are privacy friendly, unlike Google. And Quant is another interesting privacy oriented search engine, and they claim neutrality, privacy, and digital freedom. And also we have Startpage. Startpage is also another Google alternative, which offers Google searches and Google queries without having Google in between us. And then it's a common misconception that we don't have good alternatives for proprietary softwares, but we have many actively maintained and made with love open source alternatives for proprietary softwares, and they are more than enough for average users. And here are some uh, extra tools. We have a NetGuard, and NetGuard can act as a firewall in Android, and so the user can decide which app has access to the internet in background and forward. And then we have Orbit. Orbit is a browser for Android, which is very lightweight, which uses the Tor protocol. And OpenWRT is an embedded operating system, which is a privacy focused embedded operating system based on the Linux kernel. And we have MicroG, and MicroG is a replacement for Google Play services without the Google's spying part. And the almost all free and open source Android open source project based operating systems offers MicroG. So with using MicroG, you can access all Google Play services without the Google's malpractices. And so thank you all. Thank you very much. And thank you, CSI, for offering such a stage for me. Thank you.
Yeah, Afsal, very good talk by you. One simple question is why Gmail cannot be accessed by Tor browser? What is the difficulty? Have you tried accessing Gmail through Tor?
I didn't. I think Google is blocking, or maybe because of the Tor browser has some very strict policies on cookies and.
Yeah, you cannot access Gmail through Tor.
Yeah.
I mean, have you understood the reason why it's not being allowed?
I think not. No. You can explain to me, sir.
No, the thing is that it goes through. You know what it is being it is doing. If you access Gmail, you can see Spanish language. Okay, the interface coming will be from the Spanish side. So it be as if you are accessing the Gmail from Spain. I'm telling an example. So Google tries to. Google has its own mechanism to identify the location. So when they find the, I have tried. I was not able to log in. That's the problem. I didn't. I tried, and this is what I came to know. And also, Gmail has listed the browser they allow because they can easily track which browser you're using. So they have blocked the browser as such. You got the point? Because if you have seen your last access location of the Gmail account, they'll show you IP number and the type of browser you are used.
Yes, sir.
You have seen, is it not? In the Gmail account, you can see which browser you are using in
Yes,
the
sir.
location and login history. So Tor is not there in that. So Tor they are blocked. Okay, and and have you noticed if we and to students have you noticed if we make a phone call to a real estate agent, okay, after that you can see the real estate ads coming in the Facebook. You got the point. See, you make a simple phone call or your insurance dealer calls you. After that, you can see the advertisement of the insurance companies in your Facebook app. So
Yes.
whatever you do, that digital privacy is compromised in the present scenario. I can tell you because even a phone call can be tracked by the Facebook app. Maybe Truecaller is there with that. And now government is going to such an extreme that they want to avoid the encryption and all. I mean, due to their own reason, they got their own reasons for that. But I'm telling you, these are things that are happening. Any doubts? Any questions?
No doubts, but I would like to mention something. There is a saying that there is no free lunch. So we get Google, Gmail, many such services appearing to be free of cost. So then there will be a cost which they will extract from our personal data or from our communications. So unless we are prepared to spend money to access such facilities, we have no grounds to raise our finger against them because they have to recover their investment.
Also, compared to Google Chrome, Firefox protects our privacy. That's what he told, and that's true.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, better to use Firefox. And yeah, any more question, or we can go to the next one, and then last we can have the discussion.
One more
Yes.
comment. Yeah, so Tor is basically what I understood is used to block this terrorist and some other, huge kind of other attacks that are happening to web. For example, this blockchain kind of transactions. So that is some illegal transactions and some whatever the illegal part takes place in the so-called web. So why this Chrome and Google are they are not doing it because it affects their market, and that's why they wanted to more customers and more kind of social media kind of things. So they don't need to promote those kind of things. So that's one comment I wanted to add it. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, interesting thoughts, but you know, even Facebook has a Tor domain. You can access Facebook using Tor, and we have DuckDuckGo in Tor, and eventually more and more companies will come into Tor, and so I think they can resist uh, the people's urge for privacy. Eventually, they have to. That's all my
Yeah,
thought.
it's a big concern. It's a big concern.
Yeah,
It's
we'll
good
go to the
talk.
next speaker. Yeah, very good. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Next, we have the representative of College of Engineering, Perumal, Mr. Anandu V. Mr. Anandu is the Eco Club Tech Coordinator as well as the IEEE SPCEP member in his college. Along with being a dedicated coder and a public speaker, he has his own interests in the field of music. Today, he's here to talk about the brain-machine interface, the next means of communication. Welcome, sir.
Hello, am I audible? Yes, you are.
Yeah, we
Yes,
can hear.
yes.
Good evening, all. I am Anandu from Department of Computer Science and Engineering, College of Engineering, Perumal. Today, I am here to tell you something about the most innovative and technology of the future, Neuralink, the brain-machine interface, invented by Elon Musk in July 2016. Before moving to the topic, I have to tell you something. It's a wide level of applications available in this technology, but now it's only applied in medical diagnosis field. I mean, in autism, blindness, spinal cord injuries, etc. So let's watch a video clip. This is what I have mentioned. This kid is having autism and doctor is analyzing her brain's working and the processes happening inside by a device in her hand. In this way, we can analyze the brain's processes and the mistakes happening inside, which cause the inabilities in her thinking and all. Let's watch another clip from a movie called Bruce Almighty. Hope you all have seen the clip. It's funny, but there is something in it. He's just commanding his dog to go to the toilet. A dog is obeying just because he's a dog in this movie. He's controlling everything around him by just commanding. It's actually possible by training to the dog for about months. But with this technology, we can just command any animal or anything to uh, do our means, just how we wish. So, in this session, I will give you an introduction to Neuralink, concepts used in this, what is Neuralink, pros and cons of Neuralink, and applications of Neuralink. So, the introduction. The main theme is a symbiosis between AI and human brain. As you can see, Vision in Avengers is a combined form of human and robot. I'm not saying anyone who implant a device in his brain will become Vision in the future. I'm not saying that, but we will get more from what we have now. That's the theme. To achieve the symbiosis between AI and human intelligence, they used BMI and neural lace. We all know about the nervous system. Nervous system is a system which transfers information signals from all parts of the body to the brain, and hence we feel what we see and what we do from the outside. And most of these information signals are in electrical form. And when we can capture some of these signals using a wire which is connected to an electrode, and we can transfer the signal to the outside system to a computer, we can give commands back to the brain as a feedback, and we can analyze the processes happening inside the brain. This is the working of Neuralink. In the left side, it shows the neural lace, and the right side is the working of brain machine interface. This is how it works. The information signal is captured with a device and shared to the outside device. What is Neuralink? Neuralink is a gadget that will be surgically inserted into brain using robots by neurosurgeons. This is a device. It's having a size about 23 millimeter in diameter. This is how we implant it to the skull, making a hole about 23 millimeter diameter and implanting the device directly to the skull. So, the pros and cons of Neuralink. I'll discuss about the pros in the upcoming slides. There's a lot, and let's discuss about the cons. An electronic device inside a human skull is still unacceptable in many countries. We know even this device can give uncountable functions, and it can make us a superhuman. It's a electronic device which is going to implanted on the skull of a human body, which is actually a weird thing and still unacceptable in many countries. Next, conspiracies about privacy. I have to show you one more clip, which is from a commonly known movie. He's just controlling everyone by just looking into their eyes. And this is what I have to say. This is a wonderful technology, and obviously there is some bad sides. There is some confusions about this. It's a device which is connected to the skull and which is analyzing and giving commands to our brain. Even iOS is not saying they are unhackable. They are saying iOS is pretty hard to hack, but they are not sure about they are unhackable. And how we can trust such a tiny device which is implanted to the skull and which is giving commands to the brain? When someone can access this device, someone can hack this device, he can obviously give commands to us. He can even use us their his soldier, just like he does here. You have to think about it. It's a serious thing about it. Next, applications of Neuralink. Here comes the pros of Neuralink. For visual processes, I have to show you something. This is I have mentioned in the first. He's a blind man, and with the device, he can see everything outside his body. I'll explain this. I have told you we can give feedback to the brain with this device in this slide, and with the information which is from a surveillance device, simply a camera. We can give the signal to the brain, to the link, and we can pass the information as a feedback to the brain, and he can see everything outside the body. That's how it works here. He's having a device in his head, and he can see everything from the outside. It's a wonderful thing about Neuralink. Next, telepathy. Musk himself says non-linguistic consensual conceptual telepathy. You know, we know about telepathy. Telepathy is we can communicate with others with our minds. The same thing in our mind will be known to someone else. It's a telepathy, but here we don't use any sensory organs to perform telepathy. We just simply think about it. And let me tell you something. When someone has a experience or a memory about some rare experience like scuba diving or skydiving, anything, and he can just upload the experience to the World Wide Web, and someone can download the experience by using this link in his skull, and he can experience the same way how he felt when he does that. That's a main thing of, and the wonderful applications of this technology. Maybe it's available in the future, not they are doing this now. And unlocking hidden creativity. 70% of our creativity is hidden in our brain. We don't even know about some creativity. Sometimes we say, I didn't really notice this in myself. That's how it works. 70% of our creativity is hidden, and we can use this device to find the hidden creativity in our brain. Next, nostalgia of mind. Here is how we can cure the cognitive disorders like dementia, Alzheimer's, etc. I'll explain you nostalgia of mind. We know some of our memories are faded away by days passing. When we read our even old chats in our WhatsApp, we say sometimes, I didn't say that. I didn't do that. It's not me. Sometimes we pretend like we forget, but sometimes it really we forget the memory. um, why the memories that happened, the experience that we had will be faded away as we don't think about it anymore, because we forget the way how the neurons transfer the signals, the path of the transferring of the signals. We forget about the path. That's why we forget our memories. And by using this device, we can actually just like copying the path of a file in our PC, we can just copy the path of the neurons which transfer the signals when we fail something. And when we need to remember about a memory, all we need to do is just visit the file or the folder where the path is copied before. And the way we can cure Alzheimer's, because we don't forget anything. No way. That's another wonderful application of this uh, technology. Next and the last, AI symbiosis. As I have mentioned in the first, we can communicate with anything and interact with anything. We just stick to AI. Here comes the chances of controlling devices which are AI based. Any device, any vehicle which is AI based, we can drive it. We can just, all we need to do is just think about it. We don't need to give command. We don't need to use our hands or anything. All we need to do is just think whether to start the engine, turn left, turn right, accelerate, brake, everything. We need to think about it, and it happens in the time. That's a AI symbiosis. Here's some just like Bruce Almighty. The animals are uh, obeying humans, just like a human kid do. Pig is drinking water just like human kid do, and a monkey is playing video games just like humans do. That because they are implanted a chip, a link in their skull. It's a simplification of link. When they first invented it, it was just like a airport behind the ear, but now it's a chip which is implanted to the skull, just having a diameter of average 23 millimeter in size. So it's a wide area topic, and it's a lot to tell about this, but we have no more time. So feel free to ask your doubts. Thank you.
Yeah, open for questions.
Anantu, this is hello.
Yes,
Hello.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, again, brain-computer interfaces or BCI is one of the hot topics now in AI also. Because AI, we are trying to mimic a human brain or whatever the human do, the computer has to do. But if you really look into the human thoughts and how human really behave, that lacks in the AI applications. That's the way this BCI provide a way to extract more details directly from the brain. So you talked about
Yes,
more of
ma'am.
implant devices, and do you go gone to the other kind of devices which cannot be, which is not used as an implant, because implant has got certain disadvantages also. Do you know the disadvantages for the implanting?
No, ma'am, not really, but it's a weird thing. That's all I know.
Yeah, your signals will
Nothing more.
be more more
Yes,
strong when we have implant. But if you put some implant devices inside the brain, it will make some problem, and that will create some other kind of degrading there and all that. So
yes, ma'am.
that's why now for the experimental purposes, we'll go for the some devices that comes above the head and all. Have you gone through those kind of devices or any research?
Yes, ma'am. The first form of this device, it was
Pardon?
just like an airport.
Mhm.
Now it's they are updated, and now it's a tiny chip. It's
There
actually
are
true. There are some bad
some
effects of implantation.
yeah, there are some low cost devices available. Uh, I don't know whether you heard about the MUSC. It's a 4 channel kind of. You can just place it on the forehead and it will give some signals. But basically, from some particular regions or some particular part of the brain only, that signals will be extracted. So if it is a memory or a speech or any other kind of things, so that's kind of chip has to be placed in there. So now this is one of the hardware part that people are more looking into that to come up with some, because otherwise you have to go for EEG or EOG kind of devices that the skull is we put it that, and that will again we need a technician to get the details and all. So what my thing is that you can go for this kind of devices, and eye tracker devices is also there. You must be knowing about that eye tracker. So
Yes,
it's
ma'am.
like yeah, the eye movement and all will be captured through a glass. So this is a very promising area. Those are interested, please go more into that, so that on the top of AI, where the cognitive behavior is also be incorporated using this BCI. So it will give a more of eye break eye opening into the area of AI with the I mean developing a very good application which can mimic more of human. And as you mentioned it, this like not only in the health area, of course, it will be more beneficial, because those who cannot speak, even if you murmur or if you some thoughts can also be extracted, and that will be interpreted. That signals will be taken, and that will be interpreted through software, where
Yes,
exactly
ma'am.
AI and NLP play a bigger role into that, and that will be according to that the output will be generated. So very interesting area, a good topic. So what I suggest is that the students are interested, please go through in more details of what are the promising topics today coming in the AI and the cognitive computing. Okay, good. Any other questions? That's from my side.
Thank you, Elizabeth ma'am. To add to Elizabeth ma'am, even Anandu, you can use emotive echo. It is a device through which you can externally implant and external. No, it's an external device. You don't have to implant. You can
Implant means, is it
yeah. No,
implanted?
no. It's not implanted. You can fix it on your head. 16 channels will be there, and the signals can be taken out, and a lot of processing can be done. And if you're interested more, definitely it is possible for us to connect with the TCS. TCS is the team who is working a lot with autism related
Yeah,
problems, and Robin Tommy is the best person who can actually mentor you
yeah.
in this regard. Okay.
Yeah, really, really. Even for the education also, we now will go for this kind of thing, because the behavioral to study the behavioral aspects of the students, especially for the online classes. So because when we conduct online classes, we don't know the students mood and attentions, and whether they are tired, and also this all can be captured through these devices. So that is also another emerging research going on.
Excuse me.
When he
Yeah.
said implanted, then I thought that it would be placed inside that.
No, ma'am, no, ma'am. Even at our department, we have one device, ma'am. Emotive book.
Oh, yeah.
I was,
Okay.
I was about to ask whether any such device is available which one can wear like a cap, so that it is at your liberty. You can remove it anytime.
It is there. It is there. Like a cap, but some slight uncomfort feeling will be there. That is what we identified. Even if it is a cap, for getting the signal, it needs to be placed in a particular angle. Like forehead, and some electrodes needs to be attached in a
I
particular
mean, like the
angle.
EEG
Yeah,
signal.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
But it's very cost. That's a problem, because even medical, even hospitals and all, they use it. But for any other academic institutions, it's very difficult to afford, because EEG and EOG caps, it's available. So, but it's very costly. So
But it should
that's
be
what
connected always, isn't it? It should be connected to
yeah,
the machine.
yeah. That's what I told you, that nowadays there are some low-cost devices are coming with a 4-channel or a 61, 8-channel or 16 channels. But the signals will be weak when we get it. But even for the experimentation purpose, we can use that.
Yeah. Anyone else? Yeah. Tushara, anything? Anyone?
Yeah, I would like to ask you, Anandu, what about the interpretation of this? How you will be interpreting this data? You'll be capturing the signals from your brain, and how this device will be interpreting this?
Ma'am, I don't really go to that extent, but I think just like interpreting the signals in our communication system, just do the same.
Ma'am, all these devices are coming with some licensed software as well. For instance, if it is emotive book, there is a software allied with this particular device, and the software will give you the signal in CSV format. It will be
Yes,
in table format. Some
I,
numerical
I,
values are there.
I think we have to look into the accuracy of that, how far it is, how far the interpretation is correct. What are the accuracy of that? Isn't it?
Yes,
Whether we
definitely.
can whether we can improve the accuracy of that.
Now, what we do is that the signals, when we convert it into digital, so that it is available in the computer, then we can do interpretation at the level what you want. So that's why the software part, the AI part, take care of that. So, and also so certain NLP, natural language processing, will also be involved in that. That is also a machine learning kind of activities takes place there. So if you, I don't know whether he has shown that architecture, that when you come to the architecture of PCI, you have the brain and you have the caps or whatever the implanted things, and this is connected to a computer. So the signals, when it comes to the computer, this will be we may transfer to a digital signal. So once it is come to the digital signal, then the interpretation will takes place in the software side, so that we have got the more of flexibility into that. Some of the software, as Lakshmi Mara suggested, there are some built-in software there, but if you wanted to do more research on that, we need to come up with our own AI platforms or machine learning techniques into that, and kind of interpretation we need to develop on that. That's the way we go. Hope you
Yeah.
understand.
Yes, madam. Yes, madam.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, recently they have come with some techniques that can read the mind. I mean,
Yeah,
what you're
yeah.
thinking. So it has been developed like anything. I mean, I don't think.
Yeah, it's whatever you thought, whatever you the thought that comes in the brain, that can be taken out and interpreted. But it's not. I mean, you don't. As we theoretically, if you say that, but when you really work into that, it's very difficult to interpret it. So maybe we have to get it in the word by word, or that's the way we can work it with that.
Yeah,
So lot of research is yet to take place in this area.
yeah. Yeah, and Sritra Hospital is also doing some research in BC interface. I think Sujesh
Mhm.
completed the PhD in the BC interface.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Good.
Dr. Keshadas is working on that.
Yeah, okay, so that's it. Malu, do you have any questions? Malu is doing some
Yeah,
research.
yeah. Actually, the structural and functional MRI can also be used to read brain signals. Okay, we can capture it as images. So, what are the area in brain is active now that can be measured using this fMRI and structural MRI. Okay, in EEG, MEG, we can capture it as signals like our digital image signals. Okay, so another brain computer interface device is eye tracker, and there are some uh, wearable glasses or can be placed in your eye, in your face, and we can capture the movements of retina. So, in which part of a particular scene we are concentrated on, that can be measured using this wearable glasses. Okay, so in our one of our MPhil students developed a low cost technique. Sorry, not MSc student developed a low cost device, and using this webcam, we can measure, we can track the movements of eyes. So, for a particular student, while during the online class, a particular student is concentrating on the screen, computer screen, or they are listening to some part of, they are not concentrating on the screen, we can measure it. Okay. So there are so many devices, brain computer interface devices that can be used to measure our intelligence and functionalities of our brain, and what are some diseases. Okay, definitely Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, all these type of diseases can also be measured using this brain computer interface devices. There is a lot of scopes in this area.
Yeah. One question I got,
Yes, ma'am.
Malavya, whether to add to that, can the machines control our brains? You are telling about the other thing. Can machines control our brains?
Definitely. Okay. So I would like to add one more thing, that if our if we are not able to, there are some signals. If there's some part of our nerves is not functioning, okay, we can use some wire. Okay, so electric wires to measure the uh, capturing signals from, like, our sense organs. Using our skin, we are capturing, we are sensing something. Okay, so with the help of some sensors, we can give signals to our brain. Okay, so we want to capture something with the help of some
Very good.
artificial uh, hand or leg. Okay,
The
so
question is
then
that
also,
Dr. Malu, the question is that can
yes,
machine control the question is that can machine control human brain? So this is something even at 2030 people are really you're looking forward. So it is something that we need to control it also, because if we go like this, because of the power of AI and this kind of new technologies coming in, so there is a possibility that machine can control a human. So we need to, if you really look into that, if you look at the privacy part of that or the AI ethics part of that, should be some limit on that. So we cannot go like that. Like a machine can control human, then that will be the end of a human. So so that is something we need to be
Yes, madam. Yeah.
careful about. Yeah.
That's why I asked about wearable and not implantable.
Pardon, sir.
I asked about wearable like a cap and not
Yeah.
implanted. It was with this concern. Once it is implanted, it
Yeah,
will
yeah,
be there until somebody
yeah,
else can take it out.
yeah. That's true.
So that's a very high risk.
Yeah, the risk is very high. We need to control somewhere. But certain applications like health or some other applications, this is very much required also. So we need to draw a boundary. That's very important.
Madam.
It's very
Yeah.
specifically dedicated for some limited purpose,
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Alzheimer's or other physical deformities. It's okay, but not. One has to ensure that it does not contain a virus or a bug which can be manipulated by the manufacturer or somebody else.
Yeah, true. True. Yeah. Tushara, we'll wind up, Tushara. Oh,
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Ma'am, can you bind up?
Yes, yes,
Just one
yes.
question. Is this tested with Alzheimer's for real this patient at any case? Any case studies are available?
Yes, ma'am. In Srijitra, there are a lot of works are doing by Srijitra.
You just tested.
Yeah, yeah.
Then this thing proper response were coming from these dementia or Alzheimer's person from with this what is that implant as you expected, or what was the response of that patient? Any idea?
A lot of studies are doing in, researchers are doing in this area, and with the help of eye tracker, actually they can, the patients that are not able to communicate with any other source, that is paralyzed person, they can communicate with the help of eye tracker.
IIT Delhi is doing a research on this particular topic with the help of one of the medical center there, and then Triple IT Hyderabad is also doing. Symbiosis Pune is doing it. Any other?
MIT. Most of the foreign universities are now concentrated on this kind of studies, cognitive brain computer interface.
I think if it comes through, it will be a great relief for many people. So many people are getting Alzheimer's at early ages of early stages.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We all are at the doorstep.
yeah. So I thank CSI for organizing such a wonderful session. I mean, all talks were very good. So thank you for providing this opportunity. Yeah, Tushara.
Thank you, Arun sir, for being with us this evening. It's a great pleasure for CSI Trivandrum chapter to thank CSI student branch TKM, one of the strong branch in fact CSI is having, and I'm greatly thankful to the young chairman, Mr. Vishal, for coming up in collaborating with the CSI Trivandrum chapter with his team under the guidance of Ms. Tushara. We indeed are trying a lot to foster the culture of learning through sharing. Every Thursday, you join us so that we can learn together. That's the idea of FC Coakley Tech Talk Series. And we are amazed by the way the students are using this particular platform. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
കഴിഞ്ഞു.
Yeah. Okay.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
So we have reached the end of the session. I hope you all have learned something new today. So first of all, I would like to thank the CSI Trivandrum chapter for giving us the opportunity to host the National Student Tech Talks. Next, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to Dr. Arun Aniruddhan for accepting our invitation to chair the event and spending time with us. Thank you, sir.
And thanks for inviting me.
Sure, sir. Thank you, sir. Next, I would like to thank all the speakers for accepting our invitation to give a talk in today's session. I also like to express my sincere gratitude to our SBC, Professor Tushara A, for her constant support. I also take this opportunity to thank all the coordinators and volunteers for the dedication and their hard work. Last but not least, I would like to thank all the audience for joining us today and sharing your thoughts. Once again, thank you all and stay safe.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.